What's up, bros and brodettes? Back when I was in middle school, I loved my cell phone. I was always getting on the Insta, checking my DMs and whatnot. But then I realized that it just kind of gave me the ick. My brain started thinking differently, and all I could think about was just being on my phone. You know what I mean? So after I grew up and got a little bit older, I decided to put this thing down more often and not be on it all the time. That's something you can do too. No cap.
Hello, Top Tigers. Mr. Gilchrist here. I wanted to thank Brock for that awesome intro. I know what he talked about was kind of how he was on his cell phone too much when he was younger, and as he got older, he realized that that's not a good thing necessarily for himself and his brain. And maybe you felt like that before too, where when you're on your cell phone or you're looking at a screen for too long, you kind of get into this fuzz or this funk. Well, there's a reason for that. It has to do with how our brains interact with all of those that stimuli that you're putting in front of your face for long periods of time. So I wanted to talk to you with this character ed. We're moving into and shifting into smart cell phone use and social media responsibility. And it's so important to understand that although we love our cell phones and we love our devices, we love technology, there is a dangerous side to it as well. And so you have to be very responsible to when you use devices, when you use smartphones, so that you make sure that you use them in a healthy way and something that's going to be productive for you rather than have some of those negative impacts. So this video is all about some of the negative impacts. And I actually did some research on this, and I wanted to share with you a site of some research-based information that was provided so that you can know exactly what is potentially negative when you use your cell phones. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to go to this site right here. When we look at this site, this is Conway Medical Center with Novant Health, and they've put together some research, and researchers have put together some information to actually relay to the public. In this case, it's specific information for parents, but I think this is important for you to know as well, because you are the ones that a lot of times pick up that cell phone. And if we're picking up something that can be potentially dangerous, we should know exactly what that danger or what those dangers could be or look like. So I'm going to start actually in this introductory paragraph or introductory section. And I wanted to read just a quick piece here. Through the years, numerous studies have highlighted the impact of excessive screen time on the physical and mental health of children, and some suggest that reliance on devices may hinder our kids' ability to learn and regulate their emotions. It means that the more time kids are on screens, the less time that they're interacting with adults, they're sleeping, or they have opportunities to read and hold conversations. And all of those things are crucial to child development and to brain development at your age. And I'm going to kind of just real quick, I know that when you look at this, you look at smartphones and children, you think, well, I'm not a child, I'm a teenager, or I'm a preteen, or whatever it might be. While I understand that, when we talk about children, we're talking about brain development specifically. So at your age, your brain is not developed yet. And that's okay. It's not supposed to be developed. So that's not an insult or meant by any disrespect at all. It just means that you're in that brain development phase of that age. And your brain really doesn't get fully developed till very late teens, 20s. So that's what that means. So I'm going to skip down here to some of the negative effects. The first is sleep disruption. If students or if young people are having their cell phones on at night for long periods of time, that actually that blue light that's emitted from the screen actually causes some issues with a good sleep cycle. And I'm sure you've heard about REM sleep cycles and getting into that REM cycle of sleep. That's so important to be able to recharge your brain, recharge your body, and have energy for the following day. I don't know if you've ever been in this mood before or this situation before, but when children don't get enough sleep, they're moodier, focusing is harder, and it can affect how well they do in school. I know that when I don't get enough sleep, I can feel that way, and I'm sure that's the case with you as well. So be aware of that and be careful if you're one that tries to use the cell phone a lot at night, in the evening before you go to bed. Next is that reduced physical activity. Physical activity is so important for kids your age or students your age to be outside doing things with your body it actually creates dopamine for your from your brain that helps you to be healthier and live healthier. In addition, it helps with just growing in general. So it's very important. When you're on your cell phone regularly, that often doesn't happen. And if you look at this stat, it's interesting. 52% of teens sit for long periods in silence on their smartphones while hanging out with friends. And you've all been there. Sometimes I've been there even with my wife or my own kids, and you're on your cell phone, and your friend is sitting right next to you, and that's what you're doing, instead of getting out and doing something active or not with a screen. Next thing is that social isolation. It's easy, right? When you look at a cell phone, it's easy to pick it up and play a game or look on social media or whatever it might be. It's just easy sometimes rather than going out and interacting with the world. But interacting with the world is vital to your development. Again, our goal is to prepare all of you to enter high school and beyond as adults. And there's no way around it. You have to be able to interact with people successfully to be able to increase your chances of success as an adult. The next is cyberbullying and mental health. And I'm sure many of you have dealt with this, unfortunately, and it's a sad thing. And we'll be talking more about it with some of our other weeks. But many students your age have come to me talking about how so-and-so has said something about them, either directly to them online or via a cell phone, text of some sort, or to other people about them. And it creates so much damage, creates so many challenges and issues for every individual that goes through that. At your age, it is difficult growing up. Your age is one of the toughest ages to be in and get through, just because of all the hormones and all the changes that you go through over these years. So adding on or tacking on something even more challenging, such as cyberbullying or negative words sent to you online or sent about you online, it just makes things even harder. The next piece that I want to talk about is the mental health challenge. And all of those other things actually lead towards these type of mental health challenges. But I want to just point out this list right down here, and note that the study was done at the Yale Department of Psychiatry and the Columbia School of Nursing. In this case, they analyzed it with 9 and 10-year-olds, but I'm sure that there would be similar results with just a little bit older, 12, 13, 14-year-olds. But take a look here at this: issues regulating their emotions. They have a hard time not staying calm or arguing too much. And sometimes they have a difficulty to get along with others. There's a potential for an inability to finish tasks, right? So you have that instant gratification on your cell phone, so it's hard to finish a task long term. Lower curiosity, because everything's right in front of your face. More difficulty making friends, which we already talked about. They can be more difficult to care for. And then lower in self-control. And if you think about that, that's just a perfect mix for making life more challenging than it already is. And you want to minimize that. You want to make things a little bit easier for yourself. So using your cell phone too much can do the opposite of that. Attention and concentration issues, of course, when you have something that's constantly, 15-second reels or whatever, it's hard to listen to a teacher for 10 minutes, that kind of thing. So you have to be able to really practice with your brain having longer concentration on those kind of things so that you can be more successful in different areas of the world. The impact, obviously, I think we kind of talked about that. What I wanted to skip down, and this section is for parents, but I think it's important that you know this too, because you are the one with the cell phone in your hand, and you have to start to regulate yourself. You have to start making more mature decisions. I talk to my kids about this regularly in terms of what they should be doing on their cell phones and what they shouldn't be doing on their cell phones, and that they have to start taking ownership of that. And at your age, as you progress through middle school and into early high school, that's what you have to do as well. But the first is screen time limits. So you can do some research yourself if you're interested, but the more hours of screen time you have on a regular basis, the harder it is, or more negative results that can come from that. So set your own schedules. You know, if you want to keep it down to an hour, hour and a half at night, then don't go beyond that, and respect those rules or those boundaries that you make for yourself. Create tech-free zones. So if you are maybe going out to eat with your family or something like that, instead of just getting on your smartphone, uh, put your smartphone in your pocket and talk to your family, those kind of things. The third one is make sure that you create healthy sleep habits for yourself. So that's something where you can maybe, if you really have a hard time picking up your cell phone at night when you're in your bed, um, go ask your parents if you can keep it in their room, that kind of thing. And that's a mature decision that you can really make as a young adult. Open communication channels. If you are having challenges with this, talk to your parents about that. Okay, that's an important thing that you should be talking to your parents about, so that they can help you create or make better decisions with it. So all of those things are things that you can do specifically. The other piece is that you can talk to your family about it, just in general, about what the negative impact or the negative potential outcomes of using cell phones too much. So it is a priority that you should really be thinking about if you haven't already. Hopefully, this video has helped you think about some things in a different way, or understand at least some of those negative potential dangers of using cell phones too much. Thanks, Tigers, and have a great day.